I forgot that I still had that stupid AI bullshit theme song that I created with prompting it and lyrics. You know, it's really funny. Good evening, everybody. Before I even get into the chat and everybody, I posted the Shawn Crystal reel on my TikTok. Yes, there is a West Coast Avengers TikTok. Just, you know, try to get more of, you know, people coming into the YouTube. But it was that AI reel we were talking about, and somebody tried to say that the machine is art, and you know, it's just whatever. It's just people prompting. But I will say that West Coast Avengers theme song was technically written by me. I did type the lyrics in, but I did not create the music. Anyway, yeah, it's all right. All right, let's say hello to some friends, and then we'll get into it. Well, no fucking around. Plenty of fucking around, actually. Always fucking around. Derek, my friend. Joe Williams in the house. It is a very special episode. We're going to hear about the bodies tonight. Bodies. Look, the bodies hit the floor. Ah, what? Nothing wrong with me. Anyway, good evening, Robert. Robert McCallum. Top of the Canadian morning to you, even though he's not Irish. Hello, Sergio. Oh, there's no, don't you cry tonight. I still right now. Dr. Jacob Doctor. Tyler's in the house. Hello, Tyler, my friend. The Calvin Yetimus, the Mr. Mountain Man. I need a Screamo remix. I never really listened to Hawthorne Heights. I mean, I know who they are, but hello there, Brian. Hello. Hey, remember last stream I was in there reading Savage Dragon? I finished the Ultimate Collection yesterday. Well, what'd you think? I love me some Savage Dragon. Andrew Pete in the house, my brother, Mr. Kirby Zine Maker, Tasteful Curator, Homeboy San Francisco Nader, but not Ralph Nader. Or maybe you are Ralph Nader. I never really looked to see if you were both in the room at the same time, though one time we hung out. All right, well, we'll get into it. Plenty to talk about tonight. But the hello there, Marsh, Mr. Marsh in the house. I made the decision, Leo, I don't know if I would say I'm sane, but I am balanced with my insanity and my sanity, because sometimes my hands just do this. Oh, that's a great fight scene. What up, David? All right, so we won't bury the lead here. How do I sound? How am I doing? I made the decision mentally on Sunday to go ahead and cancel Davenger Con this year. And then I informed everybody that was participating on Monday when kind of like I let the decision sit. I had a lot of time to think on Sunday. I drove down to South Washington, just north of the Oregon border, to go on a buy and look through like 150 long boxes. And I'll say this, it's been a while since I've gotten to do something like that. And that really made me happy. But it was a 2 hour and 15-minute drive, 2 hour and 20-minute drive. And that's a lot of time to think. I don't sit and think a lot and, you know, like stew on my thoughts. I'm always doing something. I'm always busy. And just a lot of factors added up to the fact that I have just been overly working, stressed, and unhappy over the last couple of months. More so the last month of podcasts, the channel, curating books, selling books, making sure that I am paying my bills, making a living, because remember, this is my business and my job. So I always have to do that, no matter how much fun it is interviewing people, all that good stuff. I still have to remember at the end of the day, my money comes from book sales. I don't monetize the streams because it's not going to make me a living anyway. So, so yeah, I thought about, it, and I was just like, there's some great people that are involved in it, but I just need to cancel it because it's still a month away, and that means me working, and you know I'm trying to rock away on all these things. My mental health has always been, you know teetering, just like a lot of other people, and I'm not a special person because of that, but we all have to take care of ourselves, and we all have to think in terms of, we want to do good for people, we want to do good around people, and I don't have kids or anything, so I don't have to provide for anybody but myself. But in that comes like, hey, Dave, if you're not sleeping well, if you're stressed out, if you're worried about all this stuff, you gotta take something out of the equation. And you can't, I'm not ever going to reach a point where I need to take myself out of the occasion, but I have to take certain things out of the equation. Um, for me, there's something to be said about understanding when to say no to something. And sometimes you have to say no to yourself. You have to say, no, I shouldn't be doing this, or I'm overcommitting myself. And I really care about, I really care about being able to have fun while I'm doing this. Like, if I'm not having fun, let's say I overbooked on interviews, and at the point of like interviewing Sanford Greene, I wasn't having fun. I would have asked him if I could postpone it, or if I was too stressed out, to give him the proper time and respect. And yeah, it's all about self care, but it's also about um, making sure that you put yourself first. Like, I know that y'all are going to be there next Wednesday, or whatever. And some of you might not buy books, but some of you might. But the thing is like, not being concerned that, like, if I don't do something, people aren't going to show up. Um, and so a couple years ago, and a lot of you know about this, two two 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I was supposed to go to New York Comic Con, and I'm from New York, so like going to New York is a huge thing. It's like, gotta see friends, gotta see the people that you really want to see, and I was doing too much, um, and I got up the day of the flight, and I was like sluggish to get out of the house, and there was traffic at like 6 in the morning. There was an accident, and I was late for my flight, and I wasn't going to make it. So I called up Alaska, and I was like, "Hey, can you guys put me on the next flight tomorrow, same time, just the next day?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I got home, and I kind of went back to bed, and I think I stayed in bed almost the whole day. I was like overworked, stressed, and depressed. I got up. I woke up the next day to get on my flight, and I just said, "Fuck this, I'm not going." I was like, nothing about my body and mind wants to get out of bed and go to New York, to be surrounded by 100,000 people over the weekend, have, all this stuff, like the good and the bad, like seeing friends, but also having to be present. And so I didn't go. And that move turned into me finding that Amazing Spider-Man collection, which I still have half of it. And I 9-2'd the ASM 14 and sold it for $16,500, which is exactly what I needed to pay my taxes 3 days later with. And it was like, it's like I made a right decision for myself, and it like worked out in the best way possible. And knowing when to make those decisions took me fucking 35, 40 years to get to that point mentally. And so this isn't as drastic, but I felt it building. Like you said, Rob, I recognized it, and I said, I can't. And everybody understands, like, I'm not worried. There's no person that even for a second, like, thought about them, like, is a bad move. Everybody said the same thing, and I appreciate all my friends, including Rob. And I talked to Sanford, and I talked to Sean and Jim. They were all supposed to be there. I talked to Cheddar. I talked to Sean, Japan Book Hunter. and everybody else involved, and everybody understands. And you know, next year is a different story. Or if I decide that I want to do winter Davenger Con, like, the good thing is I control all of this. And so I wanted to just, you know, make that stream about, you know, like, talking about it tonight, but also, like, just talk about my plans and also the things that I really want to do for this channel and this community. uh, I sound like a woman. I don't know who you are, but okay. Anyway, that's your problem. Um, so you know, and anybody that, I feel bad for people that can't understand when their mental health, um, you know, is suffering. You know, and we've got, you know, that's a bigger problem for this, you know, this world. But I'm pretty in touch with who I am. Apparently, MRGP789 uh, is very insecure, and you know, that's their problem. That has nothing to do with me. I am a very well-adjusted human being, and I advocate for you, anybody getting help if they need it, or anybody taking a break if they need it. Whether it's fucking, you know, if you can. Obviously, not everybody can afford to take a break. You know, that's another rabbit hole we can go down, with this society we live in. But anyway, that's that's what you got to do. You know. Um, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I'm always happy to have this conversation and support people. Um, you know, and look, I can't speak for other people in general, but I can speak for a lot of people that I know, in that we have conversations about this, and we don't talk about it enough. Guys don't talk about it enough. And this comic community is full of men or children, if that other person wants to chime in again. But you know, it's how many, and another part of this is, and I think this is just sitting in my brain because of the time of year it is, and you know what's coming up, for anybody who's in the know. We lost Ed Pisker, April 1st last year, and you know, he took his own life. I have a friend uh, who took their. I mean, it's weird. Like, I went through an entire period of my life not knowing anybody that did that, and then from like 2016 through 2018, I knew like 3 or 4 people that ended their own lives. And you know, it's just something that, like, I don't ever want to experience that again. And I'm always happy to talk about those types of things with people, because I experience the heaviness of what goes on in here on a fucking daily basis. And you know, I guess I have this channel for a reason, right? I have a talking thing. I talk a lot. But I appreciate you all, and you know, and it never got really dark or anything like that. It just got really fucking heavy and stressful. That's really it. That's not, yeah, that's never gonna happen. I enjoy being on this planet a lot more than I ever thought I would. Even if the planet is on fucking fire. So originally, and that, you know, I'm not here to call out charities. I originally had one charity planned, and I decided not to go with them. But it's the Kirby Museum is the one that I ended up going with. And you know, the thing is like, we did the Kirby zines, and we did a portion of proceeds from each of the volumes went to the Kirby Foundation. I think I donated, between volume 1 and volume 2, I think close to $1,000 already, and I still have some zines left. So whatever sells will be the final. You know, when I sell out of them, I'll make the final donation. I love you too, Dave. I appreciate you. Hey, it's all good. It's all good, David. I just wanted to be honest about it, because I know a lot of people were looking forward to it, including myself. And that's the thing, you know, I am pretty hardworking and hard on myself. Um, and I want to bring quality stuff, because, like, that's just what I want to bring. Um, and you know, the podcast has been doing great, and I'm pounding away the pavement with the guests and getting some great conversations. Like, Look, y'all know I love talking, but I think I could be wrong. You know, some people might disagree with me, whether it's vocally or not. But I think it's great to bring conversations to people, and I think I'm good at it. I think I'm good at it, and I think in the times that we've lived in the last 10 years, the ups, the downs, mostly just the fucking what the fucks. But I think listening, I like listening to interviews and people that talk. There's somebody that I would love to get on Direct Edition that some of you might not know who he is, but I think he is the best interviewer out there, period, in the last like 15 years, and that's Zane Lowe, who started in the BBC, like just a great personality, well spoken. He's a Kiwi that moved to the UK, but now he works for Apple. And that dude has put down the best music interviews that have come out and been out on podcasts in the last 10, 15 years. If you know who he is, then you know who I'm talking about. And, he's somebody that I could listen to him could listen to him talk to a fucking wall. So I just want to bring that kind of content to people, even though I'm no Zane Lowe, but I'm me in my own world. Yeah, John, I try to do what I can with them. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate it. And I see your support, and I really do appreciate it. I'll be at Heroes, or that's the plan, to go to Heroes. So if you're going to Heroes again, Dave, I will be there. And then the only other con that I plan on going to is the Eddie P Con, which is in Pittsburgh in September. And then you can catch me in Japan at the end of the year. Manga Quest 2025. JLS in the house. What's going on, man? And Leo, that's the thing. Like I do want to just kind of talk about comics and music and movies and art, and I'll dip into the kind of discussion of me being very against everything socially that goes on with the shit in charge and the billionaires. Like I said, I'm going to make a t-shirt. I want to make a t-shirt that says, if you fillet a billionaire, think about all the people you could feed. Hey, speaking of somebody that sucks, it's not him. I love you, Adrian, actual Dracula in the house. I just say that he sucks because he's actually Dracula. Yo, Adrian, did it. So yeah, and the plan was, the full breakdown of Davenger Con was to be Cheddar Comics, Chris, good pal of mine. He was going to be one of the live sellers. Sean was going to come back, Japan Book Hunter, and do his rare manga sales. And then we had a live drawing again with the same crew: Gabby, Vlad, Adrian, Dracula, Rob, and Jeremy Heiler. You can catch some of those freaks, those lovely freaks, at IC3 this weekend in New Haven. So there's that. And then so that was going to be the live drawing. The prompt was going to be Kirby. What up, Mark? Mark's in the house. And then the special guest, well, I was going to do a sale, two sets a day, one in the morning, one at night. And then Sanford Greene was going to come, and we were going to do a flip through of the Dune book, like a director's commentary. So we're going to record that. That'll be on the channel. We won't do it live, but it'll be on the channel. And then Sunday was going to be a live episode of Ink Pulp with Shawn Crystal and Jim LaFood, maybe even Jazzy Jamie and Matteo Scalera. But we'll do something in the future anyway. I'm recording something special this week that Mafu Jim's going to be involved with, and a couple other people that you know. So, and then if it worked out, speaking of IC3, Kazer's in the house. Kirby art giveaway. Yeah, I'm giving away all my Kirby art, all of it, all one page. No. And then if it had worked out, I would have gotten Chris, Comic Tropes. He would have done one of the nights with me. We would have closed out with a trivia and claim sale. So, it's just a lot of moving parts. And Joe, who does all the graphics and editing and design and stuff, he was going to film a lot of stuff for me. It just became too much, like I said. And I didn't want to burn out completely and be miserable, because for people that also don't know like what goes into this. Yeah, David, both volumes are out. I only have a couple of sets of the first and second in matte. Otherwise, it's going to be down to glossy for the second volume. Curating the books, and you guys are going to see some crazy fucking great books over the next couple of sales. There's a preview of some of them that were for Davenger Con, and I will be back to regular sale next week. First and second Peach Momoko published art in those heavy metals. Second appearance or second V for Vendetta, and the first of the new Miracle Man, and then that great Marvel preview Moon Knight Sienkiewicz. So yeah, so the preparation and curation of great books, and then shipping. I mean, the first year it took me 7 days to get through shipping, and then I think last year for Davenger Con it took me a little bit less because I had a system down a little bit better. And then the raffle, and there's a lot of money that goes into this because I'm getting donations and I'm shipping everything for free on the raffle side, and I'm paying Joe to do his work, and it's just a lot. Has Batman appeared in my no? I mean, he's been here once, but not on camera. Okay, all right, David, I will put that aside later on, and I'll get at you. So and speaking of somebody that put on a great con this year and last year with OAX, Kazra, and then him and Matt are doing with IC3, like. It's just, I mean, I talked to him, had conversations with him over the last year about all this stuff, and it's just so much work, and yeah, I didn't want to feel shitty, and that's basically it. Like there was really nothing else involved in it, but like we were all saying at the first 20 minutes or so, you just gotta take care of yourself, especially these days. Like nothing makes sense right now, and so like you're starting at a baseline, like this is all fucked up every morning when you get up, and it's hard enough being human as it is. So but all in that, I feel a lot better. And so yeah, this weekend, past weekend, I went down to visit a friend who's a dealer, and he has taken he bought the old store that he used to work at in Virginia. He bought the entirety of everything that was left, and the guy had been shut down for a while, but he'd been keeping everything. And so he took 150 long boxes back to Oregon to his house, and he had kind of organized everything. He's like, yeah, if you want to come down and like dig through everything and then just buy stuff. And so yeah, I spent about 10 hours looking through books. I think I clocked about 100 long boxes or so, maybe 120. Found some great stuff, found a lot of weird rare shit that y'all are gonna love. And so I shot some video, and then I did a haul, like I showed off every book that I got. So I don't think that's gonna come out this weekend, but if it doesn't, it'll just be the following weekend. A lot of editing to do on that. Appreciate you, Sam. Sam, did you get the package? Just let me know when you do get it, because I want to make sure everything came fine. Don't always trust when shipping frame stuff that it's going to get there. Okay. Comic Tim has been doing a lot of work. Yeah, but as I told Sanford, he's in the closet. Got to give him his tuna fish a little bit later and his glass of water. There's still some unaired Comic Tim stuff. It's got to come out, but we'll get it out eventually. People think YouTube and organizing this sort of stuff is easy. It takes a lot of work. Yeah, David, I can't agree more with this. It is. I have conversations with friends, when I'm hanging out, and there's a couple of people in my life that I usually call on a daily or bi-daily basis, and I say, like, it's kind of scary when you think about how success, even minor success, or what success might be or what it might lead to, like how much you'll have to pull back from it if you want to maintain your sanity. Like, I can't imagine. I one of my friends showed me once his IG. Awesome, Sam. Well, he showed me his IG once and told me that if he had ever turned notifications on, they would never stop. And he only had 70,000 subscribers or followers at that point. Like, imagine having, 1.2 million. But then at that point, I guess you have somebody that handles that, and I'm not anywhere near that. But I do see, like, my microcosm and how that affects me. Of like, when I wake up some mornings, it's like 12 DMs, and I'm just like, I got to put my phone down, you know, and it's a lot to do this, and I do all, I'm sitting here emailing people on a daily basis, trying to get interviews, trying to, or collections, it's a lot of work, but I love it. And that's the thing. When Davenger Con started to feel, when I started to feel unhappy about it, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. Um, and everybody, I had a good crew of people together, and I finally kind of trust all the people that I'm bringing onto the channel to promote it too, because I had that problem in the past with certain people that, I let them use my channel and they just used me, you know. But yeah, that's the long short of it. So I want to just say thanks, a public thanks to everybody that was supposed to be part of it. You all know I've said your name tonight, and I want to also say thank you to all of my guests recently. Shawn Crystal, fucking love you, Shawn. Sanford Greene, such a pleasure, such a great dude. And like I said, I'm going to have him back on the channel shortly. And Jim Ward, and even going further back, Alex Pardee and Scheme. All of this happened over on Direct Edition. We'll get to that in a second. But John said, no, it looks easy, much like work. Produce a podcast, part of my job, and it's a niche listenership, and half a dozen people get it bi-weekly. Dude, I commend you. Like, shit is hard, trying to figure out, like, there is no guidelines for any of this stuff, because, in the world of, like, not just social media, if we're going broader, to YouTube, to podcasts, to all that kind of stuff, a lot of the info is gate kept by the tech companies or by the social media companies. Nobody for sure knows. I watch videos every once in a while on, like, how to grow your audience by these people that have millions of subscribers, and what works for them doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So, just say the word. All right. Word. Let's thank you, Derek. I was just going to show, if you guys aren't in the know of Direct Edition, you can go to westcoastdavengers.com, and there's a landing page. You can listen to it on the embedded Spotify player, or you can click any of the links to subscribe, which I'd obviously appreciate if you did. But most of the interviews that I'm going to do on the channel going forward are going to be on Direct Edition. There are some cases where it's like, okay, there's a couple of people I've been trying to get on that I want to put on both, that deserve, like, a little bit of that comic love. And that's why I'm having Sanford on to do the flip through of the Doom Treasury, because it's a figuratively and literally big book that's coming out in a couple weeks, next week or the week after. And it's a book that everybody was excited about when the regular issue came out last year, because, it's funny because Hickman's name was attached to it, but, Sanford, it was all Sanford's book, including obviously the art, but the story, the MF Doom tribute and all that good stuff. Last two interviews have been amazing. The story, well, I appreciate that. And Jeremy, big ups to Jeremy. Put out his 6 books last year, working on his creator-owned original. Will be at IC3, and is doing some fucking killer commissions. So yeah, Direct Edition, and then I'll just show you the landing page for YouTube, which is here. Which shows everybody gets, like, different things that it gets shown to them. But there's the Sanford Greene interview. Believe it or not, maybe it was the dude who came in and said, I sound like a woman, who is the person that hit the dislike button on the Sanford Greene interview, which I'm still trying to conceptualize. I'm not the type of person that ever hits a dislike button. But you go to watch an interview, you know who the interview subject is, and you're like, nah, I don't like this. Like, why would you click on it? You know who it is. You see Sanford Greene. or whatever. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm not a shrink. I don't know why people do weird shit like that. Johnson, what's up, brother? Johnson just finished his book. You can order it from him. Johnson, it's called Final, isn't it? Where can they hit you up to find it besides Instagram or just on Instagram? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, Greg. Greg, I don't know. Like, I can understand people that leave comments, especially like negative ones, because you're anonymous. You're hiding behind your screen name that has, you're fake person. But you hit the thumbs down. Like, why would you click on it in the first place? Oh, let me see who the Sanford Greene guy is. Oh, he seems really nice. Dislike. Or this guy Dave. He's a good interviewer. He's not dislike. The analytics YouTube gives you help sometimes, but it's mostly useless. Algo makes 0 sense. Yes. Some videos land. Yep. And your channel, Sam, your channel's young, and I was having all of those things in the early days, and I'm still having them 3 years later. All of those thoughts. Called Final. Yeah, it is called Final. All right. I didn't want to be confused, Yeah. I don't know. Probably none. That's the link. I'm on Store Envy. I envy you and your store, Johnson. Yeah. Hey, look, actually, I think that's an insult to sex workers, Leo. Let's not insult the sex workers. That guy, he ain't getting. They're all telling him, "No, I'm sorry, I'm booked." um, By the way, another thing tomorrow for anybody that is on Instagram and wants to see, I actually don't get interviewed a lot. I don't. Like, I'm the guy who has the channel. I love it when somebody who I love wants me to be on their thing. And I got asked a while ago because I decided to pull back. I pulled back with doing like just showing up on a ton of channels because I'm burnt out. And I wanted to share with you tomorrow night on Instagram with my buddy Nick. If you know him, you'll love him. And if you don't, you'll love him. The Nerds Pub on the channel that he helps run and founded, the Comic Underground, on a show called Tales from the Underground. It's the first episode, and Nick had asked me, and I, like, Nick is a buddy, been buddies for a couple of years now. And if we didn't live on completely other sides of the country, we probably would hang out very often. But I'm going to be on a show called Tales from the Underground. I'm not exactly sure what, like the vibe of it is going to be a little bit of everything. And, and so I'm excited to hang with him. It's at 5 Eastern, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. So I will be on at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern, hanging out with Nick, talking whatever. And I think he said that if I want to put some books on the wall behind me with prices, he's like, yeah, you can do that too. So maybe I'll pick out some tasty treats. And then next week we'll be back to West Coast Wednesday of the comic claim sale that has won all of the awards, including wait, the legendary Hobby Hero Award. Yeah, I'm a fucking hobby hero. CGC. Yeah, something like that. I want to jump on Direct Dish Podcast fast to help the algorithm. They're meant to be savored entirety for later. Well, thank you, Simon. And Simon, I got to compliment you on that Savage Dragon again. I hope you do some more stuff with Eric. I love that Eric is all for giving cartoonists some space in his book to do kind of whatever. Savage Dragon Funnies is still one of my favorite things. And all of those like weird Image books that he did that were not Savage Dragon books, like Herculean and stuff. Hello, Amber. Hello. Yeah, Amber, I got to tell you, with Davenger Con being canceled, there's gonna be some X-Men books out coming soon. I don't have anything prepped or whatever, but keep an eye open. I actually looked at they weren't for sale yet, but I looked at a GSX today, and a Hulk 181. If I have the chance, I'm going to buy the Hulk 181 for myself because I never owned that book. Yeah, he's awesome. I love talking to Eric. I love that I got to have Eric on the channel twice, and I love supporting his work. And I took a long break from Savage Dragon, and when I came back into it, one of the things that really shocked me in the best way possible is that you can jump into that book and you don't need to have 200 plus issues of backstory. Like, you kind of figure it out real quick. No, Matt. No, it's not that. No, if I ever do that, that'll be a big lead up to, like, multiple weeks of sales and stuff like that. And it's funny because in private, I've told my friends, and my aspirations and goals is to grow the podcast so I can pull back on the grind of the bi-weekly comic sales, but it would be more like once a month, and it's just like every sale's great, and that would be if the podcast takes off, and I could make at least an income from it. But I don't honestly don't think that, like, that'll ever happen in the mainstream. It'll be like the cult podcast that everybody loves. Like, I look up to a guy like Mark Maron. He does that shit himself. Like, not anymore. He's got stuff. But when he started, it was always from his garage, which I think it's still from his garage. But he's got that vibe of, like, yeah, I'm not for everybody, but I'm for the people that like that, and I love that kind of vibe. But yeah, like I told you, I said last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago, I reached out to some big names that I had no business reaching out to, but I got responses. They're not all like yes, but they were responses, and that to me is a big step. When I think in life, I think in general, for me, I can't speak for anybody else. It's just like, I was always nervous to ask certain things of certain people because I was afraid of rejection. And when you realize that, like, rejection is just part of existence, and getting a response is actually sometimes just bigger than anything else. Yeah, Amber, I'm sure you would. Tyler, you're a good guy. You're the good guys. Pope Tyler's got a surprise in his next order, something that I picked up for him. But yeah, and so this weekend, if I don't get the video that I shot all done, or if Joe doesn't and we don't get it done, this weekend you're going to see a top 10 video of my top 10 favorite Bernie Wrightson covers. It's interesting. I don't do top 10 videos, but when I want to do one, it's going to be something like that. And because I did that McFarlane one, whatever that was, like 6-7 months ago, and the video still does great numbers. People watch it all the time. Every once in a while I get comment on it, but it's always in my top 5. It's fucking Pope Francis. Yeah, it's his body. It's the OA of the Pope Francis cover. Yeah, no, I mean, that the Pope Francis one and the Mother Teresa covers are probably, like 10 grand easy, if not $35,000 pieces of original art. I did get a piece of original art. One I'm going to show off on Nick's show tomorrow, but I'm going to actually grab it real quick. Something that I bought a couple weeks ago. Be right back, but you guys can still hear me because I'm on my Bluetooth piece. All right, here I come. I'm coming back. Yeah, I got to post this one on Instagram and on Comic Art Fans because I totally forgot about it. A lot of you know, most of you know, and some of you are big fans too. I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us, the video games, and the show. I thought the show was fantastic. And next week, top 10 videos. Maybe I'll do that too, Rob. And a couple years ago, maybe when the second game came out, Mondo did the soundtrack for it, the vinyl soundtrack, and the art was all done by Tula Lote. And I love Tula. Her and Becky were on the channel, and we talked about Samna. But she sold the originals, the final original art, long time ago. But I got the prelim for Abby when she did her on sale a couple weeks ago through Kinetic Collectibles, and it's the only time I've ever been able to buy any of her Last of Us art. And since the second season's coming out and Abby's one hell of a character, yeah, I had to scoop this. And I fucking love looking at Tula's art. This thing is caked with different media, like you can just see, but very happy with owning that. It's my second piece of Tulis that I own, and I still want to see if she has any Somna covers left, because I'd really like to buy one of her Somna covers, because I can't stop with the OA. I can't stop with the OA. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Derek. I'd be okay with the St. Francis Brother of the. That's the one I couldn't think of. The St. Francis Brother of the Universe. Yeah, that Adrian. That's got to be. It's a Buscema, so that's in this 5-figure plus range, maybe. Johnson. I'm not. I haven't really ever. I mean, like, I like movie ones. I like ones that are more trivia based, but I found the angle that I like doing them in and doing covers that I have a connection with, or an artist that I have a connection with. That way I can talk about them. Like if you asked me to do a top 10 John Buscema covers, I wouldn't because like I'd have to sit and be like, all right, besides Avengers 57, what else do I love of Buscema? But if you asked me to do a Larson, I could do one. Like I'm planning on doing another McFarlane, but I'm gonna do a Spawn one. I'm gonna do a Spawn one. I didn't want to say it, but I don't think that our love would need me to cancel anything. It's more like a celebration, you know? The only top 10 I concern myself with is SportsCenter. I haven't watched SportsCenter in so long, but yeah, there you go. Hulk Buscema. See, that's the thing. Like, David, but I would have no emotion involved in it. So it would just be a very boring, like, here's the thing. It's really cool. I like it. But if it's like Jim Lee, I can do it easy. Actually, Matt, I just got a bunch of Sal Buscema signed books. But yeah. Cheesier, they would all be Batman books. And maybe Prime #1, which is not a great cover. I am planning on doing a little Liefeld one, even if Rob doesn't give a shit about coming on the show. I'm still gonna do one because I do love. There's easily 10 Rob Liefeld covers that I love. Real top 10 list should only be pre-code horror books. Well, yeah, but then here's the other thing. I like to do it with the books, right? And I don't own most of those, any of those books. I could do it via the artist edition because I have the EC covers artist edition. But then there's, like you said, it's pre-code horror, so there's so many other books. There's a lot of Atlas stuff. Top 10 cover video for each image founder. I mean, Johnson, that's actually something I could do. The problem is there is no Jim Valentino cover that I love outside of like 1 or 2 Shadowhawk covers. I could do Larson, Liefeld, Lee. Wills might be a little tough because like I can think of like 4 that I really love, but I can't really think of. I'd have to go deep into it. And then Sam Keith would be an easy one. But he's not a founder. What am I saying? Top 10 grunge bands. There's 4. There's 4, Jeremy. It's Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. No, there's Screaming Trees. So that's 5. There's Mudhoney, Temple of the Dog. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. The Davenger of the week. Well, that's gonna be me. Caked up. Yeah, exactly. It's like 280, 282, 283. No, he does. I mean, some of those Wetworks covers are actually great. Amber, I don't think so. I mean, Who the fuck knows, right? Who the fuck knows? The Canada shipping's been messed up for a while anyway. Canada shipping's been like so messed up for a while. I had shipped something to Ryan Colossus, and it came back that he didn't accept it. And I was like, and I messaged Ryan, I sent him a voice message. I was like, I know you didn't deny this shipment, but I wanted to let you know it came back. It kind of fucking sucks. Melvins, I wouldn't consider Melvins grunge. I would consider them punk because like they inspired what would be grunge, but I would say Melvins is like OG, like they're punk. They're like, I mean, I got nothing against the Melvins, but would I consider them grunge? No, just because they're from the Northwest. No claim sales. George, what are you talking about? I'm just canceling Davenger Con. That's all. Claim sales back next week. Plenty of books. Well, yeah, Jacob. Yeah. Top 10 Wizard covers. No Bart Sears allowed. That's not fair. That is like cheating because Bart Sears is at least 3 to 5 of the top. All right. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Then the Nelson Ghost Rider. Can't use Bart Sears. Then we go with no, I don't like this game. The Smiths, no, they're just, the Smiths are a great band. Rest in peace, Morrissey. Let's just say that. Yeah, let's just say that. I don't know who else we would consider grunge. Because like there are a lot of bands that came up in that time, but I wouldn't consider them in that. Wizard Platt, there we go. Forgot about the Stephen Platt. I gotta get Platt nailed down for an interview because we talked at Heroes Con. And his words to me were, yes, but it's impossible to nail me down for a day and time. So it's got to be one of those things that the stars just align. That interview, when it happens, is going to spark a lot of controversy because he is very, he's been in working in like Hollywood basically since he left comics and went and like he did a lot of work on the first Iron Man movie, and he works in computer and I think he knows, like, he's very in with knowing AI since it's been kind of been growing and used, and he has a very strong opinions against AI, a lot of it. So I'm excited whenever we get to. I don't have an X-Men #1. No. And if I did, it'd be one of those things that, like, I don't know what I would do with it. This is a live top 10 video. That's right. Yeah. Ask me my other top 10s. Skinyard. Oh yeah, Skinyard. Yeah, that was what Jack Endio's band with Cameron. Those guys were grunge, but those guys were like noise. Kind of like even though from Chicago, shellac, kind of like that. No Bart Sears, but you can put Whitman covers. All right, fine. Then we'll go with the Venom. We go with the Wolverine. Oh, hey, what's up, Evgeny? Yeah, Emerald City was fun. I only went Thursday, but I had a great time, to believe it or not. I mean, the thing is like if you go to these big cons now, read pop cons, and you look at it as the angle of like, I'm not going to it to buy old comics, but I'm going to it to Artist Alley, then it was great. Had a great conversation with Jeff Darrow, great conversation with Maria Wolf and Ryan Little, and Wayshak was there. Got to run into some people I hadn't seen in a bit. Spoke to Tinian just very briefly. Got to see Dinesh. So for that, the Artist Alley was good. Alex Ray did a good job curating that. But I bought 3 things books wise, dude. Yeah, I mean the thing is, Johnson, is like all of the splat flip through stuff. Kayfabe did a great job on it. And he's not doing interiors, but it would be great to have a conversation with him. His variant covers over the last 6 months since he's been back have been fantastic, with the exception of the Rogue Savage Land one. Whoever colored that, they ruined that. They ruined it. Top 10 concerts like that I've ever been to by band, because if it's tough to remember shows. Like I can remember my favorite, probably my 2 favorite Pearl Jam shows. One would be 2003 Madison Square Garden, the one that became the DVD, and then maybe the Ottawa show in 2005. My first show is kind of legendary too. But yeah, I mean, that would be more of a podcast thing for sure, Jeremy. What X-Men would you like in the movie? To see? I mean, Wolverine, 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 and I'd like to see somebody do justice to Sinister. Sinister would be cool, and bring back Anya Taylor-Joy to be Magic. She was so good at fucking New Mutants. I rewatched New Mutants maybe like 3 months ago, and for the first time since I saw it during, I guess, COVID, whenever it debuted. That movie aged a little bit better than it had any reason to. The cast, it's because the cast is so good. I see what they were going for, and I enjoyed it the second time around. Mad Season, yeah, Mad Season, hell yeah. An underrated supergroup. Lane, Lanigan, McCready, what's his name on drums, and then it's not Pickerel. I forget the other two guys. One of them passed away. That isn't Lane and Lanigan. I don't think New York City Comic Con is as bad as this, back issue wise. I found 2 different $1 to $10 booths, just underground stuff. Well, there you go. I know the Artist Alley was killer. People were absolutely floored by all of the people that showed up last year. Days of the New is not a grunge band. That is a third generation. We listen to Pearl Jam, and this is who we are. Not that I have anything against them. They're just not, it's kind of like Creed, right? Except Creed is far fucking worse. What if Eddie Vedder found Jesus and had an ego and wasn't as good? Splat Spider-Man cover was wild. He packed so much in. I don't think I saw that, Johnson. Let's see if I can pull it up. Stephen Platt Spider-Man variant. Oh, I guess I did see this when he posted it on Instagram. Let's look at the original art, though. I'm going to share the screen. Stop screen, share screen, Stephen Platt Spider-Man variant. I mean, that's one hell of a cover. Yeah, I like the OA. All of his original art. The thing is like some of these covers have been colored pretty well, and then some of them I don't think hit as much. But this is a pretty cool one. I had a conversation with somebody that he's gotten so much better as an artist, but it still doesn't have the vibes that it used to have. She was actually great in that role. Shit, what was I just talking? Oh yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah, she was. Solid movie. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, I mean, I think we all expect. The problem is that they reshot it, they changed it. It was supposed to be a straight up horror movie, New Mutants. But yeah, I think going back and revisiting it, it really does stand up. Finally granted, that's awesome. I'm still missing one, but that's what I will get them again. Those books. The Spider-Man one was at 57. Is always going to be the hardest one to find, and that one I have only gotten one copy of it for sale, and then I have one in the PC. Oh, Tad, yeah. Funny story, John. When I was a mail carrier, one of my coworkers was married to the bassist in Tad, his ex-wife, and Ronnie's one of my favorite people. And I don't know Seaweed. I don't know the name, but I don't know the band. What comic would I like to see that hasn't been turned into a movie yet? A movie? I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Like a comic property that hasn't been turned into a movie or a show. I think Something Is Killing the Children. I'd like to see that. I don't think so, but I'm never gonna say never on that, just because all the homies are gonna be there. It'll be Dave and Wayshak and Matt Ritchie and Derek Kirk Kim and Maria Wolf will be there, hopefully. So I'm David. That's one of those ones that I can make that decision, a month before, because it's a super cheap and quick flight for me. Yes, agreed. Platt has gotten tighter, but it still feels very 90s. Touch, peel, and stand is one of my all-time favorites. No, I that's Derek. I'm not shitting on Days of the New. I'm just saying that where they are, they came away, they came after like late 90s. I remember buying that album and listening to it a whole bunch, but it didn't stick with me. What's up, Bryce? Bryce in the house. All good, brother. Just you know, just got all right, long short of it, I'm canceling Davenger Con just became too stressful, and it led to me not enjoying and not having fun planning it. And I didn't want to burn out because I've done that to myself way too much. And seeing it coming and knowing it's coming and knowing that feeling, it just wasn't worth it. Yeah, it is a small world. Dude, John, you live in the Pacific Northwest. People that stayed here, like that didn't move, that have been here for their entire lives, or at least like 30 years or so, like it is really a small world. I met a lot of people that were connected to a lot of the music scene when I first moved here, and it was like such a strange thing, in a good way. Bone, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, Bone would definitely, obviously not a live action. That would make no sense. But yeah, an animated movie or an animated show, so you can watch Bones. Oh, Nikki's here. Nick, I plugged tomorrow night, Tales from the Underground, and excited for that. 5 p.m. Eastern. No, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Old Guy concert. Cheap Trick right after Dream Police opened for REO Speedwagon. Still a Cheap Trick fan, and I haven't. That's great. I mean, look, Mark, I used to think that I wasn't like Old Guy, but now I tell people that are younger than me that I saw, Rage Against the Machine on the Evil Empire tour. I saw Pearl Jam the week that Kurt died. I saw Weird Al and the Monkees at Jones Beach when I was a young kid. So, love you, Ray. Don't worry, Dave. We'll still welcome you with my old pond. You ever hear Dave Grohl on the Howard Stern show where he parodied that song, and oh, it's so fucking good. So good. What up, Matt? Heroes for Hire Comic Club. Matt's in the house. Yeah, me too, Nick. I'm excited for it, man. Tales from the Underside. Tales from the Underbelly. Stories about sex, drugs, and rock and roll in the comic book community. Yeah, Netflix fucking sucks, man. They shelved and killed Matt Wagner's Grendel when it was done. It still was in post-production, but it was done. And yeah, fuck Netflix, man. What up, Flush Jackson? I'm sorry, Flush Jackson. I am for real. Didn't mean to cancel Davenger Con, but I was too stressed about him, yo. Yeah, I'm here to improvise all of the songs for you. I still believe. That's not the song you were talking about, but so yeah, where was I? We were talking about top 10 things. Top 10. I mean, what other kind of top 10 videos would work? Like I said, I'm going to do a top 10 McFarlane Spawn covers, which will bring some people that disagree with me, which is fine. It's all opinion, but I'm not going to do top 10 stuff I don't believe in. I'd love to do. There are days where I look at like Neil Adams. It would be impossible to do a top 10 Neil Adams covers, because like you could do one just on Batman, right? And then you could do one on his horror books, and then you could do one on like his other like post kind of 60s 70s run. You could do a mix of his like Marvel stuff. It's like impossible. A NECA Jaws figures coming out. The game of Jaws. No, I haven't seen any of that, Sam. I will definitely take a look at it for sure. Top 10 Perez covers. Once again, like a very tough thing to do. You'd have to like relegate it to just the top 10 George Perez DC, and then maybe the top 10 George Perez Marvel, because it's like you can't. There's so much good DC. Yeah, and like I would feel like I'm doing a disservice to Perez, because it's not that I'm not a big fan. I'm just not a big reader of a lot of those books that he did, so I would probably miss a lot. Yeah, Jacob, put the goddamn name Paper and Plastic. Do the @ so people can follow your channel. I'm not going to go into spoilers on Daredevil episode 3, but I will say it was a great episode, as well as the last Invincible episode. And if you don't know Conquest, man, shit is about to hit the fucking fan. Which show? Oh, you were talking to Jacob. What up, Jerome? Appreciate you, brother. Top 10 Jubilee covers. I mean, there's like all Wolverine covers are the only good Jubilee covers. Top 10 comics that age better and comics that didn't age well. Once again, I don't know if I have read enough to really, like I could come up with, say like in your realm, God Loves Man Kills is age great. Infinity Gauntlet is age great, but I don't know if I can do a top 10 on that. Yeah. Top 10 creepiest Shazam covers. All of them, especially that one with the little kid on his lap. Well, it's Turok. Not a top 10 artist everyone knows so well. Give me 10 underrated. That could work. Ken Landgraf is definitely on there. Wait, what did Derek say? Top 10 Jubilee covers. I thought I did a little bit of that. I never made a list, but Andrew, that's definitely something maybe to do next year. A little tribute would be a good one. I definitely have that highlight in my Instagram story. If you've never looked, if you want to get a good laugh, I'll just show you where it is. If you go on my profile and you go right here to Kayfabe Forever, it's like all the clips that I posted on my stories from the episodes. So it would be a lot of those episodes. Jesus, that's Matt. That's all of them. Trying to do a top 10 best comic events list is a lot harder. Like I remember reading Infinity, not Infinity, the one that came out in more recent times. And I was just like, it just shit the bed at the end. I didn't even know what was going on half the time. Pure chaos. I could do that. Don't mind if I do. Put it in there, dog. Top 10 Care Bears. Share Bear, Sunny Bear. I think it's decided this is a top 10 channel for a few months. Play the algorithm. Look, Johnson, I have to every once in a while do the so I don't know if some of you know, but I get the beta test of I can do up to 3 thumbnails for a video. And last weekend's video, I did 2 different thumbnails for Emerald City Comic Con. One was it worth it? And the other one was more positive. And you got to do those clickbait videos to get new people in, or the clickbait thumbnails. Comics that you thought weren't good when it came out, but now love. Savage Dragon's definitely up there. I have a lot of respect for it that I didn't when I was a kid. Oh, that's awesome. Landgraf's awesome. He does those commissions on eBay, and I should get one. Another channel to sub, still only 35 cents, David. David, have you been on a break? Because none of your, I saw your last video that came across, but I feel like there was a couple of weeks where nothing showed up. And I wonder if it was YouTube not doing its job or if you took a break. Top 10 Saturday morning cartoons. He-Man. Thundercats. Oh! Top 10 numerals. IV, VII, XIX. I tried to do the whole Bendis Avengers and just faded into oblivion. Yeah, I read that first one where Tony uses the glove and yeah, then I kind of shit it out. I was kind of over it. Yeah, well, that's the thing. The other thing is you've got to pick the right thing to go for, and you've got to make it, kind of you can't do a top 10. If I tried to do a top 10 Eric Larson one out of the blue, I don't know if it would hit. But Liefeld, when I do the Liefeld video or when I do the Bernie ones, I think those will hit. It just depends. Here's one I probably will never do. Even though I love Mark Silvestri, I don't think anybody's going to click on top 10 Mark Silvestri covers. I just don't. Top 10 legislations Jar Jar Binks voted to pass in his function as collecting center. Misa veto you. Bear was never on scale. What about Bareback Bear? Top 10 hollow foil, you know, but I want to call it the top 10 hollow foil bullshit covers, but that wouldn't, fly. We were on a break. Uh, my videos are boring as fuck unless you like seeing middle-aged dudes opening boxes. You should just rename your channel, Matt. That might actually be like a thing. And it doesn't have to be comics. You can just open up a box of like onions. One video and live every week. That's so weird. Yeah, like your last video popped up on my feed and it made me think. And it was like, I forgot to click and look like on your account to see if there have been others. And I was just like, oh, that's weird. Top time. Yeah, but try to find all of them, Derek. Try to find all of them. I haven't come across any Turner Fathom covers in a while. Best swimsuit covers. Yeah, there you go. Top 10 ASM3 homages. Do you know how boring that would be for me, Derek? Here's another one. Oh, look, Todd Knock did it again. Oh, look, there's Kari Andrews doing it for a 16th time. Not that I have anything against Kari Andrews. I like him a lot. See, and here's the thing. If I'm not interested in it, like the top 10 ASM 300 homage covers, it's going to come across in the video. I don't fake sincerity real well, Top 10 covers for first appearances gallery, Rogues Gallery. Yeah, I mean, there are some that I don't care for. Like, I don't like the Green Goblin cover at all. I think ASM 14 is an ugly ass cover, and so many people disagree with me on that. Comic series you were excited about but end up hating. 90% of them. Top 10 Pacific Northwest artists and writers. Top 10 story relevant covers in 2000. Once again, y'all are missing the point. Can't be in the weeds on it. It's a waste of time. Top 10 McFarlane self. Well, that was the thing. I was like, I made that rule in that last McFarlane video. Was like, I'm not going to do homage covers, but it's like, right. ASM 13, Spawn 8, Spider-Man 1. And then I feel like there was at least one other. I can't remember. That's all of them. That's all of them. Yeah, but that, like that comes in line, Matt, with like, where do you put what's the one? The Diamond guy, not Sinestro, for DC, Eclipso. Do you put Eclipso as the greatest or the fucking worst? Because like, it's the ballsiest, but it damages every comic that it sits on top of. Oh, okay. I don't know. Top 10 Daves I know. It's just me looking in the mirror. Top 10 comic Tim appearances. Once again, it's me looking at a different mirror. I don't think I would be the one qualified for that. I think I'd be heavy-handed towards the ones that I like versus like the ones that other people herald. That's right. Yeah, he did. So it's just like, and he homaged that too in Hulk 344, which I forget what 300 comes out, then 344 comes out, then 301 comes out. I can't remember. But anyway, and once again, I'm not going to make this a top 10 channel, even though it might do some stuff for the algorithm. But I should be there are days where I think about chasing the algorithm in certain ways, but then I end up being what I dislike. That's the thing. I don't want to do stuff I have no fun or enjoyment with. Otherwise, I end up like a mouthpiece or somebody that's trying to chase clout, like all these people in the comics world that I really don't have anything in common with. Here's a Beatty title: Top 10 team covers Todd McFarlane didn't do. I like that. I agree about ASM 14 Spidey in a weird pose, Goblin on the broomstick. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess, that cover. Like when you look at ASM 3, or you look at the first Sandman, which is a wild 4-panel, like you don't see that on a cover, or ASM 50, which is just gorgeous. and there's so many Ditko ones that I do love that, oh, top 10 covers Todd McFarlane didn't. Oh, okay, okay. Top 10 flea markets or top 10 finds from the past. I thought about doing that too, Dave, but the problem is the time I'd have to put in mining my own storage, like mining my old footage. It's like that's one for a rainy day where I have nothing else to do, because like there is definitely some benefit in doing that, but it's a lot of work. Top 10 splash pages would also be one, but I feel like you'd have to do that by artist, because like how could you say there's any other splash pages that are greater than the stuff that Kirby put down? So you'd have to go by either age or artist, because Kirby's the king of the splash page, right? But in my Sanford Greene interview, I think he is the new king of the splash page, like for the modern era. Yeah, I'm excited to check that out too. And I have something special kayfabe coming soon, but it's not done, so I want to wait until it's done. Yeah, exactly. Well, Comic Tim could do that though. Title: Did McFarlane copy this art and then 12 minutes of beating around the bush to eventually arrive at no? God, and that is something, Derek, if I put that on the fucking channel, it would sail. It would sail. Careful of your mic. Sorry. I got no respect. I'm too sexy for my shirt. Top 10. Yeah, it's just an infinity top 10. Okay, how about just the Rogues Gallery covers? Example: Batman 251 Joker. I don't think it's in here. Hold on. Oh. Hello, beautiful. See, top greatest Neil Adams book of all time, because it's not just the cover that is amazing, but I don't know if most of you that have been around for at least on the channel watching for a year or so, I did a flip through of this just live, and this is like one of the greatest comic books of all time. Yeah, fucking love that book so much. Sweet. Excited to see that, Adrian, for sure. Is flea market still worth trying to find good comics? I think it depends where you live in the country. I did a lot in the Bay Area when I first started the channel. I haven't been down there in a bit, but those flea markets seem to be kind of like, I don't know if it's a consequence of me making videos or not, but there's just a lot of people that go to the flea markets there. But there's so many areas of the country that I feel like, yeah, you probably could. South, Southwest, the Midwest. We don't have a lot of flea markets up here because the weather is too unpredictable. And, you get some in the summer because the summer is like beautiful here, but places where there is turnover a lot, I think you get better chances of finding good books. Like this was a couple years ago. I think this was like 5 years ago, maybe 2018 or 2019. I was working for my old company and I was in Charleston and I had a day to kill before I flew out. I think my flight was like at 6 p.m. or something. So I went to a flea market and it was fucking wild. Like it was one of those flea markets where anything and everything, like anything and everything was there. From people selling pythons to, I shit you not, a black gentleman selling Confederate like goods, like shirts with Confederate flags. I'm just like, that's a contradiction. But anyway, there was tons of comics there. And like, this was before I was doing what I'm doing. But I found like foreign Spawn books there. I found like all this weird shit. And yeah, so Leo, to answer your question, yeah. The Marlboro Man appearance tonight? No, maybe? I don't know. Top 10 on your favorite top 10 comic topics. Stop it. What's up, Jonathan? Hope you're doing well, brother. How about an I quit video? That the thumbnail for tonight is, that was about as far as I could take it emotionally. Okay, now that I know you have a 251, feel free to ship it to me. You have my address. All right, sending it out tomorrow. I actually have a graded book. I have a graded copy of my PC. It's one of my favorite books. My Batman tattoo on my leg was originally going to be this, but I did a different. It was inspired by a different Neil Adams piece, which that thing is like. It's seen better days, but don't get a tattoo on the front of your leg if you want it to hold color, the same color forever. Any suggestions for comic stores, bookstores in Vancouver, BC? John, if it's not too much to ask, give me one sec here. Let's take a look at something real quick here. Give me one sec here. YouTube, West Coast Davengers. I last year went to Vancouver for 3 days and shot 2 videos or 1 video digging around. And I name all the stores in there, so I can't remember the names. But you can see where are the videos? Right here, 1 and 2. 2 videos. I think I put the stores' names in the descriptions, but I definitely named the stores. I had a great time. I can tell you that you can go to those stores and you'll definitely find stuff. 100%. Whatever video that gets you back into the Riddler mask. I mean, I could put it on right now. I was looking at for Batman 251 years back, but never pulled the trigger. Now it's, yeah, Derek. It that book was always a wall book, as far back as I could remember. But yeah, it definitely jumped the price, especially after he passed away. And I think a lot of people really realized how good and like fantastic that book is. And it's the book that is it is the book that kind of paints Joker in like that homicidal way that became the trope of the character for the years to come after it till now. But yeah, I think this is the 3rd copy I've had of this book, 4th maybe. I've tried to buy it from a bunch of different people that turned out to be psychopaths locally to me. There was at least 2 times where it was offered locally and the person was, people were just idiots. Yeah, I do love that book. I love all Neil Adams Batman, but that book specifically holds a really nice place for me. And if you've ever one more thing, going to show you guys something. Hold on. This is something that I forgot I even had until about 3 seconds ago. All right. Okay, that light's about to go out. Let me just shut it off and I'll replace the bulb. That light was angrily flickering. So in that collection I got from the storage locker a couple weeks ago, MJ Steele's collection, I can buy comics and a Python in one location. That is ideal. Yeah, exactly. MJ Steele's collection, I didn't realize what these were at first. There was a bunch of these Batman trade paperbacks from Titan Books, which is UK. So this is a UK trade paperback with all of that Neil Adams stuff in absolute glorious black and white. Which is like the coolest thing. Like I was going to put this in a Wednesday sale because I just picked it up out of one of the boxes. I was like, oh, it's cool. It's a graphic novel of, some of the Neil Adams stuff. And then I was like, oh shit, it's all in black and white. I'm like, nope, I am keeping this. Like, oh, it's so cool. So cool. So this has that Batman 251 and a bunch of other books in here. And he had a whole collection of these. So I'm going to flip through them and see if there's other ones I want to keep. Otherwise, I will be selling the other ones at some point. Well, it's the flea market. What's up, brother? No sale tonight. Tonight is just a Wednesday chat and chill, talking about canceling Davenger Con, which I went ahead and did, but we'll be back to the sales next week. Yeah, you got to go across town for because when you get them in the car, that's when things get all out of whack. Went to Pittsburgh and he pointed out the right places. Just went to Orlando and he suggested the store I was already going to, but he didn't know it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Mark, if I could be one thing for this community, if there was one thing, it'd be the person to be like, oh, you're visiting this town, check out this store. Like, I had a conversation with my LCS owner today about, like, I wish that there were so many great comic stores in Washington that I could tell people to go to. But unfortunately, I can only tell people to go to like 3, and now that Ethan closed at Destiny City, it's Comics Place up in Bellingham, it's Stargazer here in Tacoma, and then all the way in Vancouver, Washington, it's I Like Comics. Other than that, like, I could not really recommend, and Fantagraphics, but that's, a different reason why I'm suggesting that. I wish I could recommend a lot of these stores, but they're run by fucking assholes. Yeah, and Johnson, this is this trade paperback's probably from late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, 1990. So, they were doing that back in the 90s. Have a good night, Amber. Hopefully see you next week. Yeah, Orlando. I went with Mickey to that store, Swaggle House. That's Living Dead Comics. I had a good day with Mickey. Mickey's fun to go to comic stores with. I should start a Yelp for LCSs. It's right here. I am that Yelp. I can tell you what stores. Why I'm not gonna. No, you know what? If somebody asked me about a specific store in Washington, I'd be happy to talk about why I don't like it. But I'm not gonna waste my breath. Leo, that's a good question. To me, and obviously, that's right, Ian. I am that guy. Shout outs to Ian. Saw him at Stargazer today. Okay, this is a great question. And it's different for everybody, right? Because we're all after different things. But if you're in terms of new books, a comic store that carries indies is qualification for a good comic shop. If they just do Marvel DC, that is not a good comic shop because they are not helping things at all. They're just being boring and corporate minded and catering to people that may not even really care about comics. So there's that. But to me, a good comic shop is the opposite of the ones that we kind of grew up with as young people, whether you grew up in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. We all know the fucking shop where didn't treat us like humans, didn't want to answer questions. Everything was kind of just disgusting or smelly or dimly lit. Good comic shop has a friendly staff member, whether it's the owner or it's somebody that's not, or an entirely friendly staff. Not ones that ask you every 5 seconds, do you need help with something, but one that converses with you and asks you if you're looking for something in particular. I think that's for a specialty shop. What's up, Marco? For a specialty shop, that is extremely important. When you walk into fucking Macy's, you don't need to be asked what you're looking for. It's a Macy's, But a specialty shop, is there anything I can help you find, is a very huge question, especially if they mean it. Okay. But when it comes to back issues, pricing so that you don't feel like you're being ripped off. Okay. If you're not going to have anything about the condition of the comic and you have a sign that says, do not open up the comics, you're most likely hiding something. Ask for assistance when opening. Sure, fine. You don't want, but if there's one that's like, do not open up any of the comics, no. But the thing is, when you walk into a shop and you see a bunch of boxes, the biggest turnoff in the fucking world, absolutely biggest turnoff, is when you go to look through a box, oh, that's not for sale. Or you go to look at a book, oh, that's not for sale. Then why do you own a customer-based business? Why? And I always tell people, I talk to a lot of shop owners, and I talk to them because either I'm in their store or we're talking online or both. The biggest turnoff is when you walk into a shop with a pocket full of money and you're prevented from spending it. Like, I go to comic shops for one reason: to buy comics. If you prevent me from doing that with either your extremely expensive prices or your never changing selection or your negativity towards me as a customer, then, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing? There's shops, there's a shop out here that puts everything half off after they double the price. You know, there's a shop out here that does wall books that are raw that are priced as if they were graded. And I've watched somebody buy a book from there that had undisclosed cover damage, water damage on the back cover. So lots of back issues is a must, of course. Yeah, that's what, you know, anybody can do new issues, but also, you know, if you go up to Comics Place in Bellingham, fantastic store. They carry all the new books. They carry books for kids. They carry books for adults. They carry the R-rated stuff. They carry all of this stuff. And it's great. Like, you're walking in there to buy the new Something is Killing the Children issue, but you're also buying Dogman for your kid. Like, they're going to have both of those things. Yeah, do not ask about Color Touch. A good comic shop will always lead you to something you're interested in. I hate going into shops and hearing people get scoffed at. Yeah, well, that's, you know, kind of what I was saying about the shops that we faced in the old days. Yeah, that kind of like high and mighty mentality it's old. It gets really old. Or when they tell you their books are still based off cover prices, shoot them an offer. Okay, here's one of the biggest fucking no-nos. And if you live in Washington, you know the store. There is a store that has hundreds of thousands of back issues. They, you know, like stuff going back to like 2010 that's just sitting in boxes. And you bring a bunch of stuff up to the counter, and you know what they do? They price it at the counter. Do not do a comic store's job for them. And I will never spend money there on a back issue ever again. Not for sale? Where are you shopping at, Dave? A museum? A lot of these comic stores are museums. My comic shop has a basement full of heavy metals and won't dig them out for me, and I ask every time I go. Yeah, it's just like, Sam, comic, you know, like, okay, we've been hearing for years and years and years and years, right? That comics are dying, and we see comic shops closing all the time. That kind of behavior leads to a comic shop closing. Like, I've got a pocket full of money. You've got a box of things. I would like to trade you money for goods. Why are you telling me no, you suck? I'm handicapped, and going to a shop that will help me look for stuff is always welcome. Mark, I can't imagine what that's like to have somebody not want to help you. You know, I would say that, you know, but that goes into shitty just practices as business. So I appreciate if a comic store is helping you, because there should be no reason that they shouldn't. It's a business. It runs on your dollar, supporting them. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I called Living Dead a week before I was coming. I called when I was coming, and when I was going, and got into Orlando. They had three. And Mark, I had a nice conversation with that guy. Me and Mickey were there for probably 45 minutes, and that dude was legit. I spent a couple of $100 at that store. I'm not made of money, right? If I had the kind of money, 7 zeros in the bank account, you would just see this channel be me flying to comic shops and spending money. But when I can, and when I walk into a shop, like, my intention is to buy as much as I can. Obviously, I want a good deal. Obviously, I'm not buying books at FMV anywhere, because I'm a reseller. And I understand that, like, comic stores don't cater to resellers. But if I'm like, hey, I'd like to buy like 4 of those things, and you have it at $450, what if I did? Would you do 400 cash? Most times, I'd say about 95% of the times, the store's like, yeah. I don't understand why you wouldn't. You guys know, as a seller, I offer stuff cheaper than anywhere else. And I do my $5 rounds, and I do the top spinner price, and I'm always like, you know, you want $10 off, whatever. It's easier when everybody does things that are smarter, but I can't help people not be smart. All covers of 1991 X-Men for $60. Jesus Christ, I know exactly what story you're talking about. What did I sell my sets for? I think I sell them for $25, maybe 30. Anyone can carry new books, but they keep them in a condition that isn't instantly damaged because they jam them. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. My old LCS in Seattle, they would just let UPS deliver the books, and then when they got the damages, they didn't care. And I stopped collecting. I stopped buying new comics because I didn't need every copy of Saga having a ding on it. I was like, I'm not paying you cover price for books that you refuse to return. Bad business, man. Yeah, Tyler, you and Mark have voiced that before many times, and I know. I would get profiled as a teen at my LCS worker, not the cool Italian. He opened up his own store and won't ever go in there. Interesting. That's shitty, David. That's really shitty. I got to exactly a singing and a show. I'm not just your average comic book slinger or your YouTuber. I'm a performer, baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my turragal. I went to a shop and tried to buy a bunch of issues. I waited in line at the register for over 25 minutes while they Jesus Christ. I wonder if it's a shop in the Bay Area. I forget it. I know you're in. I wonder if I know the shop you're talking about. Yeah, a place in Salem I told you about ages ago, like that, just jam full of books that were damaged. Yeah, and selection is a huge thing. You know, there are stores that can't afford to buy every, like stock every new book, but Stargazer, the one in Tacoma, small but mighty. They have their Marvel and DC, but then they have their middle stuff is all Image, and then they have all the other indies. And Damien is happy to order books when even if it's something he doesn't stock, but he tries. I mean, that's the effort. Comics Place has the space, so they're able to just go fucking bananas. Another one that carries a ton of new books. Like if you're looking for new hardcovers, trades, and new issues, and you're in the Bay Area, especially Berkeley, Escapist, their new comic selection is off the charts. Their back issues section is, I've got my issues with it. I miss Jessica. She was great when she worked there. But that being said, like I always recommend going to Escapist when you're in that part of the Bay Area. Fair enough. Fair enough. No prices on the wall books is a huge peeve of mine. The customers have to do the awkward song and dance again. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, wall books in general, Derek, kind of annoy me because, like, for instance, I mean, look, I'm not going to go into a comic store and educate anybody about Mark Jewelers. That's not my job. But when I see a newsstand Hulk 340 on the wall, I always ask to look at it because I want to see if it's a Mark Jeweler. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your stuff, but I'm also not going to be like, no, I'm just going to ignore the fact that there's a newsstand 340 on the wall, Just put the freaking price on the front cover. Well, that's the thing. And that comes into the play where a lot of comic stores adopted the, to adopt the pricing at the register bullshit. That's such garbage. The thing is, Derek, there are a lot of stores that can't afford to hire a ton of employees. I understand that. But you also have to be mindful of the fact that collectibles are volatile. You always see people with the wall books when they're hot, but I rarely see a comic store lowering the prices on a book when it's no longer hot. I was in Alameda, Dave. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know exactly the story you're talking about. I know her, and I know she is not for everybody. I can't say anything bad about her personally because she's hooked me up more times than not. But I know. And I wish I could dig through all those fucking books because she's got so much stuff there. Not to blow smoke, but the cost to value ratio we get from you is incredibly rare. I've been to a bunch of different places and none of the pricing makes sense based on the quality of the book. Marco, I appreciate that. And it's what I strive for. It's the one of the reasons why I do get overly stressed doing what I do is because the care that goes into it, the time I spend looking at the book. I fucked up once big time, and like my track record is, other than that, I've never had anybody complain to me that I missed something. And I'm human, but I shouldn't be missing stuff, but I do every once in a while. But I appreciate that, Marco. Should have seen the look on the clerk's face when I pulled the stack, $100, $150, and then pulled out the Sensation Comics 20. Hey, Mark, I'm always happy to help. Hey, hey. Called the owner and he put me in a speaker and we hashed out a deal. That's cool. That's dope. Jim Dixon. Hi, Dave. I love when all my YouTube favorites converge. Spidey Hits, Ink Pulp, and you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Speaking of Spidey Hits and Justin, he hooked me up with I had an idea for a promo item for Davenger Con. And Justin gave me a person to talk to. And even though Davenger Con's not happening, the promo item, which is just amazing. I can't wait to get it in hand. And once you guys see it, it's going to be awesome because I pulled the trigger on it and I paid for them. And there's going to be one for everybody that buys something. I'd wait for the book to come to your inventory before I ever. Well, I appreciate that, Flush. I appreciate everybody that's ever bought a book from me and who continues to. I try to provide. And I try to bring stuff that even I don't like, but you guys might like it. He cut you. He cut you. Uh-oh. Assault. Oh, he cut you at a deal on an omnibus and a shirt. I was going to say, that's kind of a fucked up, weird way to treat one of your customers. I'm going to cut you. But yeah, there are things that I understand about comic stores can't always, I saw a big collection that came into Stargazer today. And there's a couple books that I'm going to try and buy. And, I was talking to Damien, the owner, and he said, it's the biggest collection or the best collection that's ever walked into the store that he's gotten. And I know that like stores don't have that kind of turnover. Like there are some stores that get collections over and over and over. But, when you're buying for, there's a couple stores in the area, and in the greater Tacoma area, there's more. So, when you're buying to beat out these other stores, and then you got assholes like me that are hunting collections nonstop 24/7, it becomes tough. I mean, it's been dry here for collections. I haven't gotten one besides the MJs, but I haven't gotten like a banger collection in a while. And it gets frustrating sometimes, but then, you got to buy books, you source them from other places. And right now, go in the next couple weeks, you guys are probably going to hate me for all the good books that I'm putting out, but you're going to love me too. Like I said, like the first and second published Peach Momoko art, right there. Woo. So, lots of fun stuff coming down for the next couple sales. So I will be back to it next Wednesday. And then the following one, 2 weeks, but we're still sticking to the every 2 week schedule. I moved a lot of that inventory stuff at the 30% sale last week. I sold some books to other people at other venues, and I might do another Whatnot show here and there, but it becomes just another thing of stretching too thin, and that's a bad thing. Bad to the bone. But yeah, I appreciate everybody's support except for that one guy at the beginning who is it's just a mirror, man. When you're commenting on somebody else's emotional well-being and you're just looking into a mirror saying, I can't look at myself and figure out what's wrong, so I have to make comments about somebody else. Yes, yeah. I mean, heavy metal, it's interesting, Matt. I made a fucking big mistake like 3 years ago. I had the chance to buy and I don't remember what the condition was, but I remember I passed up on buying I think it was the first 150 issues of heavy metal, and I feel like an idiot for doing that. So it'll never happen again. Jim, I mean, I'm supposed to go to Heroes, and I'm really excited for that because I had a blast last year at Heroes, and Eddie P Con, and then back to Tokyo. I'm not doing New York or San Diego WonderCon or anything like that. C2E2. I mean, I say that now, but if an opportunity arises, but yeah, Heroes in June. What about you? Flush, it was fun. It was fun. I think I was going too fast for my own good. And I think if I do another one, it's going to be chill. It's going to be remember the it might have been the first one that you were at where I was just sitting down with that long box, just pulling books out. So it'll be something similar to that energy. Jed is in the house. What up, Jed? An awful experience when visiting Atomic in Tacoma with your son. Hella rude with, yes, we, there have been multiple comments in this stream about that store. So you are not alone with that. Yeah. So no more Instagram sales. Leo, I might do a pop-up. I was actually thinking about that this week, and that I haven't done a pop-up in a while. And so if I do one, I might do one this weekend. But the thing with the Instagram pop-up sales, like, no offense to my Instagram homies, you're getting seconds. I won't even use the term that I was thinking about using. I fed up, sold my #1 issue of Heavy Metal last year. I have one in the PC. You know what though, Matt? To be honest with you, it's like one of the easier ones to find. I think they printed 500,000, some crazy number. It's like diminishing returns when you get to like some of those issues towards the end of the first iteration of Heavy Metal. Imagine finding some random live stream, joining it, and then taking the time to leave a shitty comment like a 12-year-old. Yeah, Derek, the world's full of them. But, not in this community. The Davengerinos are great people. There's a couple of bad eggs here and there, but they don't last long. Because they can. What are you going to say to me? Yeah, you can't throw me off. Yeah, Matt, I'm 90%. Like, it's one of those things that I bought the 3-day ticket when it went on sale. I haven't booked any travel. And it's one of those things, there's the summer con that happens 20 miles from my house. And, I didn't get a table this year, but, I could get one of those days where I just like, I'm going to stay and I'm not going to go, but 90% going. I'm tabling in a handful of local conventions in the east coast of Canada. Jim, where are you in Nova Scotia? Are you in Newfoundland? Are you in PEI? You don't have to divulge that information, but I have never spent enough time on the east coast of Canada. I've spent time in Ontario, but I've always wanted to go to the Scotland kind of portion of Canada. Cat's out of the bag. Nothing but a flipper. All right, yeah. Ray Moreno calling me a flipper, like the dolphin. Oh well, yeah, Jed, you're not alone on that, brother. That store is just whatever that store is. Overall, this community is the best. We love you long time, dude. Well, Greg, you're part of all the other good communities too. Ink Pulp and DWJ, hanging with D-dubs, as I like to call it. So, there's great people out there. It doesn't, there's nothing but love, in these communities. And like I said, there's always going to be idiots. They exist everywhere. I mean, I'm an idiot. I'm just not an asshole. Whereas, what's the quote in Dust Till Dawn? I may be an asshole, but I'm not a fucking asshole. You should go to Quebec City. I was in Quebec, I think Quebec City, when I was really young, Derek, because I had cousins that lived up there. But I would like to go back. I mean, the two obvious ones, Leo, Superman and FF. I don't really know what else is coming out. Like, I don't know what else is coming out. There's no new Tarantino yet. And I don't know if there's anything. I don't know what else to look forward to. But you could let me know. It's interesting, though. Like, I used to kind of be really on the ball of like what movies were coming out, and it just feels like it just feels like I'm not anymore. How much corn did you eat lately? Actually, Christopher Tropes IV, my friend, I had corn in my salad tonight. It was a Southwestern chicken ranch, avocado ranch salad. Yeah, he keeps changing his mind, right? He says, oh, he's going to do a show, and then he's going to do a Broadway play, and then he's in a movie. I think he doesn't know yet, which is okay. He doesn't have to. It'll come to him when it comes to him. I still haven't read the book, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood book. I really wanted to read that, and I just haven't done it yet. But some black bean. No, there were no black beans in it. It was I shouldn't have said it was a Southwest. It was like a Southwest style, so there was no tortilla chips or black beans in it. It was lettuce and the avocado ranch and some corn and some cheese, and then I did a chicken breast and I cut it up and put it in there. So, last one I watched was Death Proof. Oh, I love Death Proof. That's what he keeps saying. He keeps saying it's his final film whenever he makes it. So I hope that's not true, but I don't think it's. The other thing is, I think whatever he does, if he does a last film, I don't think he's done creating. We're never going to see Quentin Tarantino stop creating. Oh yeah, that's right. Chris had David Nakayama on his show on Monday, which is Comic Tropes After Dark, the sexy show. It's the sexy show, yeah, baby. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was great. I've been a Tarantino fan since I was a kid. I remember when I first saw Reservoir Dogs, and I was just absolutely blown away by it. And then I went to go see Pulp Fiction with my mom and my grandma in the theater. And I was completely head over heels for Tarantino. Once during book club, like 2 years ago, it was with Nick and I think Angel. And I think we were doing Weapon X. And whatever I ate did not agree with me. And I just told them, I said, "You guys got this for 10 minutes?" They were like, yeah, they knew what was up. Every once in a while, Chris, I do draw, which looks like outsider art. I have to be some version of stoned, whether it's a little bit or not. It just looks like serial killer art. And trust me, I know what serial killer art looks like because I went to that museum in LA and I got to see some of Gacy's artwork and some of the other people in there. Yeah, I'm not a serial killer though. Dude, Reservoir Dogs, man. What a fucking movie. I mean, that movie is a play. It's a play. It's structured as a play. And it was just so fresh at that time, and it still is. I even have a video. I wonder if I still have it here on in my desktop that I could show you guys, and it's like a time lapse of me drawing. I showed it. I know Tyler's definitely seen it. Like some people have seen it because I've shown it on the channel before. I think I could probably show it right now if y'all give me like a second. If it's not too much, like Dave. Let me see. Because it's a private video on my YouTube channel. So I should be able to just find it. I think. Give me one sec here. Ooh, I don't know where it is. I've definitely shown it. I'm pretty sure I showed it at Davenger Con at least once. I don't know how to find private videos. Give me one sec, y'all. Hopefully, anybody else want to chime in? Keep the chat alive. Wow, I lost 2 subscribers tonight. It must be those 2 idiots that make contents who think like, "Oh, you're not the person I thought you were." Visibility. Here we go. Unlisted and private. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, here we go. I found it. I found it, y'all. You're gonna watch it in just a moment. Give me one sec. Yeah, it was the blank cover one. Yeah, you've seen it. I mean, some of you have Dave art. I've sent it to you. Harvey Keith, when he found out his partner was a cop. Oh, yeah. Harvey Keitel. Michael Madsen dancing in the stuck. Oh my God, it's so good. So good. So good. Yeah, Chris, the stuff that I found at that buy that I went this weekend, like crazy good stuff. You're gonna see it that video, if not this weekend, next weekend. Yeah, I definitely did draw. All right, let me get this pulled up, and I will play it for you guys, and then we'll pretty much end the stream. I know what you meant, Ian. I know what you meant. All right, here we go. Enjoy. It's like we just got a bunch of logos. All right, and it's funny because like if you take that music, which I forget if it's Bach or Mozart, I forget what whoever it is, and you like put that to a scene of like Anthony Hopkins eating somebody and like in a Hannibal Lecter scene, like it works. Oh, it works. Yeah, yeah. It's so cursed. Yeah, exactly. Good night, Leo. Have a good night, brother. I mean, I like drawing for, when I like I said, when I'm a little high or whatever, but I just I just look at it like a fun exercise. I may not know art, but I know what I like. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, brother. Take care of yourself. Yeah. The Dave drawings I have melt whatever I put them next to. Yeah, Andrew's got some of my art. I send it every once in a while. Like I send something to somebody. Um, yeah, I mean, I understand. Like I got some really nice compliments from a couple of friends about it. Like I don't even bother penciling. I just fucking go right in. Like whatever medium I'm using, that's it. Like what's on the paper or what's on the thing is it. There's no room for a correction, and there's only room for mistakes or whatever happens. So that's how I kind of do it. Um, yeah, there you go. That is a priceless object and a cursed object. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's in here, but I've shown it off before on multiple streams. The involuntary Human Torch piece that I did, where it's somebody on fire saying "Help me," which I think is a great idea for a comic book character. Somebody should make an involuntary Human Torch character, and it's just like, look, I'm giving somebody free reign for this idea. Well, you do have to credit me because this is live on YouTube. A book of strips, kind of like a theme strip where it's just all the involuntary Human Torch, but it's like different scenes of somebody getting lit on fire and being the involuntary Human Torch in different scenarios. Kind of like when they did that internet uh, edit came up of Garfield without Garfield, and it's just John talking to himself, and it's like the most fucking insanely depressing thing that you'll ever see, and you can't stop laughing at it. But yeah, self-immolation, man. That's another. You could do like golden age strip called self-immolation man, and then like, yeah, in the silver bronze or whatever style you're doing it, that's more modern, could be the involuntary Human Torch. Just a man on fire doesn't want to be on fire. I'm sold. Yeah, exactly, Adrian. Exactly. Uh, all right, Mark. You have a fantastic night, brother. And I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you next week. And Vietnam Simulator, Vietnam. Jesus Christ, that sounds like a terrible video game, Sam. And just I'm full of those types of wild ideas. Jesus. So is James Hetfield for that matter. Uh, you know, you know. Um, anyway, I think we'll close it out. But before we do, don't forget the like button because at least one of those two assholes that came in with their bad attitude definitely hit the dislike button. Yep, 2 dislikes. I called it. I called it. I called it. They're just jealous because don't they wish their girl was as hot like me? They don't have this fucking good looks, baby. How about 1 hour of leading us into calisthenics? It would be like that yoga class where there's the one dude who's so relaxed, he's just farting for an hour. You don't want that. You don't want that, Chris. Um, don't forget to hit the like button. But besides that, uh, don't forget to follow Direct Edition, the podcast about nothing and everything. You can find the link down below, but you could also just click on it. You right click on it so you keep this window open, and then you subscribe to it. The Sanford Greene interview and the Shawn Crystal interviews are both comic book interviews that are fucking fantastic, Derek. Yeah, that's give me fuel, give me fire, but not on my body. Ooh, no ho. Oh, Jesus Christ. We love James Hetfield around here, okay? We only got love for the Het Man. That man sounds better now than he did 20 years ago. I don't need to do yoga to fart for an hour. I can do that right here, right now. When I'm on a test drive with a customer and I'm farting so bad they start gagging, I simply just say we're just driving fast. You can just blame it on Tacoma. Just be like, look, Tacoma's not too far down the road, and it's the Tacoma aroma. All right, later, Jed. I appreciate you, brother. You know what? I was just going to buy a copy of it because honestly, I got choice paralysis. Too many fucking covers. I got choice paralysis. Was in and out tonight. Sorry to hear about Davenger Con. Hey, Johnson, it's all good. Like things are better. This is for my mental health to cancel it. And we will have so much fun on this channel. There's so much good stuff coming. And I want to keep bringing the fun. Or as that one dude said, you're just a flipper. Yeah, that guy's probably never read a comic in his life. I'll throw a free stream. All right, well, there you go. Yeah, it made like $100,000 or something. Man, I watched that trailer. No, I have no thoughts on it. It's elder abuse is a thing that's, we knew it was happening at the time of his death when they tried to spin all these weird stories about him, but I'm not going to watch it. Like, I don't need to see it to know that it happened. The trailer was enough. Like, I'm happy that there are people that didn't, like that. Here's the thing, like, what's going to come from this besides a very upsetting thing to watch for 90 minutes? Like, he's dead. He's gone. Like, too little, too fucking late. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not angry at you, Chris, or anything, but like the comic industry is a terrible, terrible industry, especially to its elders. Look at Jack Kirby. Look at Steve. Like there are obviously counter arguments to it, but in a way, not saying anything that they did was wrong, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, it's very upsetting to watch that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I read the biography that came out a couple of years ago. It was rough. I don't need the doc. Yeah, exactly. It's gross. Yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah, and here's the thing. Look, you wanna do something right. You come across one of those autographs, you don't spend a fucking dime on it. You don't buy any of that shit. That's how you make it. That's how we like in his posthumous way. You don't buy it. Like if I ever see, I have definitely sold one or two of those with the hollow. That was definitely a later autograph. I didn't know that. Now I know if I ever find one again, I'm actually probably just going to toss it out. Like I don't. That's how you do it. Like with all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, there you go. There's that too. You know, like it doesn't need to be, period. Um, yeah, yeah, another thing about that too. Good points. Both of these good points. And I guess we could stay on just a little bit longer is yeah, yeah, it looks fucking sad, right? Like Tom, we know elder abuse is a thing. There's a lot to get into there, and I'm not going to, but yeah, there's nothing you can we can the change you can make is if you see people selling those autographs, don't buy them. You know, just don't buy them. Don't pour more money into a machine that is used to abuse him. Um, yeah, yeah, Stan was amazing. I never got to meet him, but I was at Ace Comic Con in Phoenix when him and Todd did the panel, and it was great. It was fucking awesome. You know, oh, dude, I have no love for that bullshit that selling Superman. Like that dude tries to pretend like he's in the comic community and then like talks about how he kind of like hates the whole thing surrounding it. I don't like that, vibe that those guys give me. And then I remember watching a live stream with Darren and all these bro guys like being bros. And I'm like, this is just gross. Is that the guy, the guy that was his handler? I'm assuming. Yeah, me too. Me too. You know, Selling Superman was a documentary about this guy who inherited his dad's collection, who was obsessive in collecting and kept this stuff in like a secure storage or warehouse. And he started grading it, and it was all these crazy high grade books dating all the way back to Superman 1. And they made a documentary about it, and they got the comic community. They basically like weaseled their way into the Instagram comic community and like got everybody to be a part of this film, which I still haven't seen that's come out, but it just seems like the guy's like all of his vibe is begrudgingly being part of this comic, like his dad's comic collection, inheriting it, but it all seemed very much like a burden to him. And like he tries to pretend he's like one of the comic people, but he's not. I met Stan back in 2016. He was super friendly, he had a massive line and looked so old and worn out. Yeah, I mean, I know, you kind of get that vibe from a lot of people, but he was still friendly. And 2016, he died, what, 2022? So yeah. Yeah, that Ace Comic Con I think was 2018 that I saw him at. He was in good spirits with Todd, like, and Todd spent a lot of time with him towards the end of his life. They booked a lot of those two guys uh together, Todd and Stan. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think I heard about Selling Superman from your show. Yeah. No, from Chris. I wonder if I can't tell if Chris is being ironic then on that. Yeah, he does. He does, Tom. Totally. Glad to hear someone else feel. Oh, I never like. I think he reached out to me like to try and not my thing, but I never. And then the day that OJ died, he posted a bunch of OJ stuff for sale on his Instagram, and I was like, "Come on, man, this dude's a fucking murderer!" Like, just ugh. But yeah, I didn't. It's because I never got a good vibe from him. I also met Stan in 2016 at Heroes. Still had jokes. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much Stan for like until he was like, not. He was too old to be doing that stuff. I was seeing Stan at cons. Probably met him 16 times. That's awesome. Yeah, Tom, I know you've been part of the con scene for a long, long time. I got to meet him in 2013. It was a breakfast meet and greet with like 15 other people. We got to ask him a question. He signed a book and took a picture with us. That's awesome. Yeah. And nobody ever had anything bad to say about him at all. So then when the stuff came out that he was like harassing a nurse or something, I'm like, that's such fucking bullshit. It's fucking, this dude was the same. Nobody ever said anything bad about Stan as that kind of way. They all said he was, took credit, whatever, but they never said he was a bad person like that. Yep, yep. The selling suit guy was such a hoarder. It tore the family apart after he died. The family sells collection with his douchey thanks, Dad. Yeah, exactly, Derek. Yeah. Max admitted to profiting 1.23 memorabilia and pleaded guilty. Gross. Gross. And that shit has been pervasive in collectibles since we were like, for a long time, you'd hear about stuff like that. Um, the exploitation aspect of like exploiting the athlete or the celebrity, and the other way around of like exploiting the collectors by, there are certain athletes out there that were not signing their own stuff. Yeah, I won't get too into it. I used to work in the sports memorabilia industry. I know way too much about that. And I know a lot about the authentication companies from 15 years ago that I was hearing about what things they were and weren't doing. Yeah, you had them also on the podcast, unless you meant that's what you mean, Chris. Oh, dude, that label was ass. Max was buying up movie props for the museum and overspending on big time. People would bug me. Jesus. He got loads of crazy stories of BS done. And find out Max was stealing the movie props. Yeah, I unfortunately have watched other versions of this play out in hockey. A lot of equipment managers selling sticks on the DL. I mean, I used to buy from a janitor at the New York Islanders practice rink. He would sell me all like the broken sticks that they would kind of like leave to be tossed out. But what a professional hockey team considers like a broken wooden goalie stick to be is what every memorabilia collector wants, is like a heavily used one. And he wasn't stealing them because I think they were, well, I guess technically he probably was because they were supposed to be thrown out, but he could have, if he gave them away, I think they would have had no problem. He never got caught. So, but I was a young kid buying Chris Osgood Islander sticks, like $25 a pop. Anyway, that's a different story for another time, probably on direct edition. But yeah, the scumbaggery in taking advantage of seniors, obviously not exclusive to Stan Lee. It's not exclusive to famous people. It is something that, I bet you within 1 degree, we all know somebody that suffered, an elder that has suffered some abuse in some way, some form. That's a terrifying thought because we all have parents, and as they get older, and grandparents, like it's like you want to trust people to take care, and caretakers generally are amazing, but there's stuff like this that's not even a caretaker. Max NOC registered news from last week. He goes, Jesus Christ. He'll get his. The government will want their pound of flesh or a pound of dollars. Sharks always at the end of the season sell for various stuff. Most of it goes to junior hockey, and the high end stuff goes to charity auctions. Yeah, that's the practice that most teams do these days. But this was the late '90s, early 2000s flush. No teams were doing stuff like that. It was like one or two teams would do that kind of thing. I was at the forefront of watching teams shift and start selling the game used memorabilia because of people like me that was getting it, not in the way I was talking about, but I was getting it from players. And then the teams were like, wait, we can make money doing this. And, whenever a company sees a way to make more money, they will. And then they started doing it for charity. So that's okay. Even if that's what they're saying, it may not be true. That's another story. I got a lot of stories, guys, because I'm a flipper with a lot of stories. Anyway, I think that's gonna call it for tonight. That's James Tynion. He's trying to get another horror story going. But I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Tomorrow night, like I said, I'm gonna be on Comic Underground on Instagram. I'll post about it. Nick's hosting. I'm their guest. And then next week, we're back to the sales. Sunday, new video, direct edition, new episode comes out next week. Please watch the Sanford Greene interview. It's great, and you'll learn something. And he's doing some of the best stuff out right now, and he's awesome. He's a great guy. Even though the interview starts out a little bit heavy, it lightens up a lot. We start talking about Michael Golden, and then it lightens up. Anyway, everybody have a great night. Thank you all for joining. I will stop texting you all those pics and I'll start texting you videos, Kazra. Good night, Christopher Tropes, the 15th. Good night, Thomas, the #1 Marvel fan. And everybody have a great week, great weekend. Yes, yes. And love you guys. Thank you for understanding and just being here to let me yammer and yap. Peace out. Take care of yourselves. Wakama!